Like I said, I may be on later, but I'm going to wrap it up now. But I'm going to wrap it up and I'm going to tell you. I've told this story before, but I have visual aids now, so I'm going to tell it one more time with a better payoff. And I'll do it summoning the dog. Maybe. See if he freaks out. So I'm going to stand. There he is. Okay. So, my first job that I got because my brain had information in it that was different from other people was when I worked at a comic book store in the late 80s in Seattle, in the University District. If any Seattleites are out there, it was Corner Comics 2 was my shop. I was just a 16, 17-year-old kid, but it was my local comic store, and anybody who knows comic stores knows they have subscription boxes, and so I would go on Fridays anxiously awaiting my new arrivals to my subscription box, and I was there so often for subscription box time that I started helping the owner. I would read out what box numbers got what issues, and I just started helping with it because I was there. Then he started asking me to come and help him. Then he started asking me to just watch the store for a few minutes while he went down to the corner store to get a drink. Then he started asking me to come in on specific days. And then finally, I started actually getting paid. And I kind of worked my way into my first job at a comic book store just by being helpful at the comic book store. So pro tip for you youngins out there, just go somewhere you like and be helpful, and maybe they'll start paying you to do it. In any case, big into comic books, and I also ordered a lot of comic books. And in 1988, a comic book mail order company called New England Comics published issues 1 and 2 of The Tick. I didn't understand what it was, but I was a huge fan of New England Comics. I thought they were the best comic retailer, mail order out there. They were great. And so it's like, all right, I'll give them a chance. And I went ahead and bought issues number 1 and 2 of The Tick. And I fell in love immediately. It was exactly my humor style. If you like, kind of like Dave Barry. I mean, it was just like, I was home. It was my comic. I loved it. And I was telling everybody who came into the shop about it. People who I had good relationships with, I basically insisted, I put it in their subscription boxes and made them read it, and turned everybody at my shop into a Tick fan. It was great. I felt like I was like part of ground zero of the Tick movement, because it was obscure. It was really weird that they published this comic. Like, nobody saw that coming or expected it to be good. And I wrote a letter to New England Comics and to Ben Edlund, the creator of the Tick, and gushed about how much I loved it and how I'd been telling everybody in my store to try it. And I also, as an offhanded thing, put in a postscript, and I said, P.S. I would French kiss a wall socket for a Ben Edlund original. And I sent that off. And it was quite a bit before Tick number 3 came out. It wasn't like set up, but anyway, in a few months, the Tick number 3 came out. And I paged to the back because I knew my letter was going to be there. And it was. They published my letter, and I was so psyched about that. So if you look at the Tick issue number 3, you can find my letter at the end of it. But I also got this in the mail. There's a little glare. I'll try to get this unglared. How do I? There we go. It's a little off. Man, I'll have to post a picture of this. It's very glare. Maybe I'll just take the glass off. Here we go. Let me try this. Okay, that's better. So, it's I love it. This is like one of my favorite things, and I mean it's an original made out to me, and this is like one of the coolest parts to me. Look at that cred. Look at that cred. Show me somebody who has something with the Tick on it, signed by Ben Edlund, from 1988, baby. I am old and I am full of credibility. So, that's one of my prized possessions. And have not quite finished with The Tick, the new series of it yet, but I just love that this comic book, this weird, random indie comic book that I fell in love with in 1988, has an Amazon Prime series having its second season in 2019. So, there you go. That's my Tick story, and thank you, Ben Edlund. Thank you, Ben Edlund. I'd love to meet him someday and see if he remembers making that. Someday I'll find Ben Edlund at a con or something and shake his hand for once.